Hope this is in focus. Focus on me. How much is it really gonna cost you to furnish your Airbnb? Let's get into it. If you're at the furnishing stage of your Airbnb right now, then chances are you just spent one, a big chunk of money on your first month's rent and your security deposit to get into an apartment unit, or two, you just put down a nice size little down payment for an investment property. Either way, you just spent some money, honey. And now you've got to put up even more money decorating the place before you ever see any of your return back. So let's focus on really how to keep your expenses as low as possible as you are navigating this part of your rental journey. Now, obviously, the cost of all your furniture and decor is going to fluctuate depending on the size of your unit. If you have a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom unit, your costs are going to be a little bit different than if you're trying to furnish an entire 3-bedroom home. So, in order to better create a cost baseline for this video, I'm going to be breaking down the cost per each room in your listing. That way you can do the math and determine, how much each room would cost to set up times the number of rooms that you have. Starting with the living room. So this is typically the room that guests will see as soon as they walk into the space. This is what's really going to welcome them into your home and create that first impression. So you want to make sure that you are setting up a very inviting space for people to feel comfortable. There's 2 places that I really like to look to gather my decor inspo. The top one being Pinterest. It is an endless scroll of just gorgeously decorated spaces, and many of them you can copycat on a decent budget. So go ahead, start your Pinterest board and go start collecting your ideas over there. Pay attention to the different colors and the accent prints and stuff that are being used. The things that you see repeating in each room are typically going to be your current trends, and overall they'll just make your space really pop and attract guests, from once they walk in the front door. Another interesting place that I like to look for really unique decor ideas is in the reviews, the photo reviews particularly, of specific pieces of furniture and decor that I like. Let's say that I found a rug that I really liked online. I would go basically to the webpage for that rug and then scroll down to the bottom of the page where they typically have the reviews. There's often photo reviews on websites like Amazon, maybe Wayfair, Shein Home even, where you can see how other people have used that item and decorated it in their space. You may have to do a little bit more weeding to get through all the bad photos and get to the good, but there is definitely some good in there. That's actually where I found the inspiration photo for my next Airbnb listing. Both of these methods are really great options and will help you sort of craft out a vision for the aesthetic appeal of your spaces. Now let's break down what I like to call the bare bones of room design. When you look at a living room on Pinterest, what are the main things that are present? At a minimum, you're gonna have like 3 furniture pieces that really anchor your space. You're gonna have your seating options, which is typically a nice big comfortable sofa and maybe even like a little love seat or accent chair, maybe an ottoman or something. You're gonna have a couple of accent tables. You're gonna often see that coffee table right in the center of the room. Then maybe a few accent tables on the side of each sofa or just kind of floating in the space. And third, for extra value, you definitely want to include a nice size TV. I think nowadays you can get a good 43-inch. I got my 43-inch for like under $200. It adds a lot of value and it's not really expensive. These are the main furniture pieces that are just gonna get the bulk of your budget. I typically spend no more than $600 for all of these things in a very basic standard living room. Of course, if you are pushing a higher end, more luxury style listing, you may go over a bit, perhaps with the size of the TV or maybe a more plush sofa or sofa bed, but you can still find some really great, nice, high quality selections within the $600 range. You'll also want to add a few more things like some matching throw pillows to inject a little bit of color. Color just works incredibly well with your listing photos. A table lamp or a floor lamp adds some additional lighting, something softer than just your typical ceiling lighting. A nice rug, particularly one that's very easy to clean. Window treatments, this includes your curtains, your shears, and your blinds, or your tapestry, your shades, anything that you're going to use to block out any harsh sunlight during the day. And lastly, your faux plants. These are really just going to attract the eye and inject a lot of just that clean, fresh, earthiness feel into your space, both in your listings and in person. I typically budget no more than $400 for all of the decor for each of my living rooms. So this brings our total living room budget spend up to $1,000. Just like that, we have hit $1,000. It's so important to remember your furniture budget from the get-go so that you aren't sidetracked by this expense. I personally think if you want to be competitive with other listings, it's so important that you include all of these bare bone things at a minimum. Let's move on now to the bedroom. And no matter how many bedrooms you have in your space, you'll definitely want to include these bare bone bedding essentials. Of course, you want a comfortable mattress. I recommend a standard queen size or larger. I know for myself, when I'm traveling, I typically don't book listings that have anything smaller than a queen size bed. Even though I'm a very small person, if it is a full size or smaller, I typically just don't care. Now, if you have 2 or more bedrooms, you may consider purchasing twin beds or like bunk beds for one of the bedrooms. If you're planning to target families with children, that's a better sell, I think, when you've got those independent beds, if that's your target market. But otherwise, you'll also need a very sturdy bed frame. Extra bonus if you can squeeze a headboard out of the budget too. It's not a really big necessity for a headboard, but I do think that if you're looking to list a more high-end experience, headboards tend to make a room feel a bit more polished and complete. There's so many tutorials now on how you can create your own headboard, like a fabric headboard or like tufted with the buttons and stuff on YouTube. I actually created some nice wood headboards that you'll see in some of my listings, and they were much cheaper than going out to buy the real thing. Lastly, you're gonna need some bedding protectors and linens, okay? Mattress protector, pillow protectors, a quilt or a comforter. I've used both, either or. They both seem like they work pretty well for guests. And your sheet sets and pillowcases. Do not be surprised at how quickly this will eat up $100 or so of your budget. Bedding can quickly run up a bag, but if you're being frugal, you should be able to get by okay a little bit with that budget. Now that you've got all of your bedding essentials taken care of, the last thing is to actually decorate the space, just like we did in the living room. The same decor list can apply. You'll need your throw pillows, a floor or table lamp, your wall art, your window treatments, and some nice faux plants to really uplift the space. You can also just transfer over, use the same budget as your living room of $400 for all of these things to complete your cozy bedroom. This is gonna bring our total Airbnb listing spend now up to $2,000. Are you still with me? If you're finding any of this information valuable, go ahead and hit the like button below. Lastly, we're gonna divide up each of the remaining rooms with a budget of $500 each, okay? That's $500 for your bathroom, $500 for your kitchen, and $500 for your dining room. Now this budget is gonna really depend on the size of the room. There's so many variables at play. Like for example, if you have a kitchen dining room combo where you only need 2 bar stools, that's gonna be a lot cheaper to furnish than if you've got an entire dining room that you gotta prepare. Does your unit have a microwave, or will you need to go out and buy one? These factors are going to affect your budget differently, so I suggest you... It's the train. Let's just ignore it. So I suggest you sort of adjusting these numbers within reason to match your own circumstance. Also, if you lean on purchasing gently used dining room furniture, you may be surprised at how well you come out in this category. So after following all of these budget categories, you should be able to furnish a really nice 1-bedroom rental for roughly $3,500, $4,000 max, or a 2-bedroom for $4,500 or $5,000 max. Purchasing from thrift stores and secondhand furniture stores, outlet furniture stores, is obviously going to decrease the costs involved with furnishing your Airbnb. That's why I just highly recommend it. About 80% of the furniture I use in each of my listings has been picked up from some thrifted store, from a secondhand shop. It just makes the most financial sense. Now I will say that this option takes a bit more time and effort on the front end because you're gonna have to put in some legwork, searching online for the items and going in stores to see what inventory is available. You also have to figure out delivery. If you don't have a truck, how are you gonna get the item to your 3rd floor apartment? Those kind of things you have to work out and put in more effort on the front end. But I can definitely say that the larger your unit is, the more you're gonna benefit from doing that option. So just do your due diligence in finding nice quality pieces. I've furnished about at least 6 Airbnbs so far, and I've been able to rely on these rough numbers just to get a more accurate idea of what I'll be spending. Hope you found this list helpful. If you want more tips, tricks, and advice on how to DIY your way to wealth on a budget from scratch, subscribe to my channel. Till next video, I bid you guys a ton of peace, love, and passive income.